See, I'll try to talk loud enough for everybody to hear me, but if you can't, would you raise your hand, because I'm really lousy at this microphone. Thanks, Ronnie. I just want to take a different perspective. We always talk about major things that will be coming through the legislation. I'm sure somebody's going to talk about paycheck protection, judiciary selection, schools. So I'm going to leave those alone for somebody else to follow me on that. But I just want to talk about the state of Kansas in general. A couple things. One, since Brownback has been governor, the state of Kansas has produced private sector jobs, and we've actually slowed the growth of government. When you go door to door, and everybody in this room, we've already had some comments about slowing the growth of government. And it's easier said than done, but the 2 years that Governor Brownback and myself, being a freshman legislator, we only grew government 1% last year when our tax revenue cycle increased 7%. So historically, that other 6% would have been spent. To put it into perspective, I went back this morning to 1993. From 1993 until the day Brownback was elected, Kansas collected $84 billion in taxes, and it spent $84 billion on government. There was if you put all the numbers together, there was $14 million left. So in the 2 years that we've been in the legislature, we've collected $12.8 billion and we've spent $12.2 billion. So we actually have $600 million in the bank. It's never been done before, and we take so much pressure about, we're trying to hurt schools, we're trying to hurt Medicaid. Actually, since the 2 years that I've been in the legislature, we've increased school funding every single year. The 2 prior years under Democrat control, they decreased school funding each year because they couldn't control spending. They brought the state to the cliff. The only way to cut in a hurry was school. So we take all this heat about not taking care of schools. The 2 years that I've been in the legislature, each year we've increased funding, and the 2 prior years it was decreased in funding. Now, the other big thing that will really help Kansas economically is Northwest Kansas. When I was growing up, my dad was a roughneck, and we used to go up in Northwest Kansas and drill for oil. And Southwest Kansas, it's a lot cheaper to drill, and that's where all the activity in Kansas is happening right now. We produce about 100,000 barrels of oil a day. Most of it's from Southwest Kansas. There's a reserve in Northwest Kansas that has over 2 billion barrels of oil. It'll take us 15 years just to get all the rigs in place and drill it out. So I tell you that because Northwest Kansas and all of Western Kansas needs a revenue source. If we can find them a better revenue source, they rely less on Johnson County taxpayers. So once we tap into the reserve, we'll take our daily production from 100,000 barrels to 500,000 barrels. And the other positive thing is we're going to need to build a pipeline from Northwest Kansas down to Cushing, Oklahoma. It'll be an interstate pipeline. It won't cross any other states. It'll be Kansas owned, not Kansas owned, it'll be privately owned, but it'll produce severance and property taxes for that rural part of Kansas that doesn't have anything right now. So that's really positive for Kansas, and I'm totally out of time, so thank you very much.